Hello guys, how are you doing? Okay, so you can see behind me that we have chairs up still from the baby running all around, and I'm wearing my favorite sweatshirt again. I literally think I need to buy more of these sweatshirts from Blonde Genius, my favorite boutique by my house, because I wear it every day, almost every day. That's why I'm always wearing gray in my live streams. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about the difference because with food is so interesting, right? Because most people who want to get healthier or lose weight are going to think, first thought, okay, well, I need to have a plan. I need to have a plan about food, and I need to know exactly what I'm going to eat. And I need to know, how much and how often and what's right and what's wrong. And am I doing it right? Or, it's like there's some element of safety when you want to change something about your body and your health, and then you just have a roadmap, right? You have some kind of program to follow that tells you sort of what to do, right? But then there's this whole other side of the equation where everybody says, not everybody, but if you're into, being in alignment with the way to eat, and then therefore not ever needing to be really strict about anything or really adhering to something that's difficult. This other side of the story is, hi Elvie, that you need to have more of a loose grip on it and just trust yourself with food and understand that there's more to your health and your body than food. So I know that when I started to put these two sides together, it was sort of confusing because if you need some kind of plan, you need some kind of commitment to yourself to a certain way that you're going to eat, because otherwise you'll just be in a moment and be like, oh, well, I feel like eating this box of crackers right now, and since I'm going to be intuitive with my eating, I don't need any rules, and if I have to follow rules, then that sucks, and that's not the way I want to live my life. And so if I'm in the future and I'm already eating freely, then I would just eat whatever I wanted. So these are the kind of things that went through my head when I was trying to piece this stuff together. So it can be really confusing if you're like, I want to have no rules, but I'm afraid to not have any rules. So where is the happy medium? And especially, where is that line of where do you even start? If this is something you're working on, if something with your gut, something with inflammation in your body, something with just being frustrated with food, or, you just want to change your health, but you don't know, it's really hard to not have a plan. So I don't recommend that. So there is a way to be able to use intuitive eating from the beginning while you're following some kind of strategy. And maybe it's not so much a strategy, but it's sort of what I feel anyway is that there are these truths about food and the body. And when you see them and when you know them, then there is clarity immediately. And then that gives you insight into other next steps. Okay. So what I've learned about myself recently is, that in my human design, I am an investigator, so I have to know a lot of information before I want to tell people about it. So you could be sure that I know a whole lot about digestion and the gut and inflammation and the healing powers of food, so that's good. But also that having clarity is super important, and just to shine a light on something to make it easier to understand is important, right? So the first thing you want to do when you want to figure out how to eat is you need to know the way that you feel about food. You need to know, and what I mean by that is you need to know what are your beliefs about eating in a certain way. For example, with myself, there have been times in my life when I didn't know certain things that I understand and know now, where, like, for example, I was just talking to one of my clients about this this morning, about the low fat trend, like during college years. So I went to college in 1998. Okay, so this is like late 90s, but it was still like the low fat trend. Oh, hi Amanda, yay, we're talking about good stuff here. So at that time of my life, I believed certain things about food. For example, I believed it was a good idea, a good healthy breakfast for me was to eat like Yoplait light yogurt, especially like vanilla, and put a chocolate chip Quaker Oats granola bar in it, and a small, maybe half of a big chopped up apple inside of it, so to make it crunchy, because like otherwise I would gag on it. Like I have a really hard time eating like yogurt, or like I used to eat cottage cheese, can you imagine? And creamy things like pudding, I could never eat pudding, like it would just make me want to throw up. So there's that. So I was like putting an apple in it and a granola bar in it because it was so healthy, because one, the granola bar was only 100 calories, and it had no fat, or maybe 1 gram of fat. But I know we were talking about fat, Amanda, and like grams. I didn't ever measure grams of fat. I looked more at like calories when I was in that zone of minded health. So I would look at, okay, I need the light yogurt because it has 80 calories, and then this granola bar, and then this apple. So you can see, like, at the time, it would be very helpful to know what you really believe is true about these certain things that you're doing or eating. So I believed, oh my gosh, I'm doing such a good job. I buy like the healthiest yogurt, and to me, the healthiest meant, lightest and low cal and low fat and not heavy. And so I believed that those foods were good. And I also believed that the eating of those foods, the eating of the low fat foods, would lead to the outcome of being thin and being fit and being in shape, okay? So this is why, like, you have to know right now, what do you know and believe about food? So, and then the other side is, do you want to know the truth? Because I'm not here to like push my beliefs on anyone per se. I don't want to do that. But I do want you guys to know that there is a place of knowledge right now in our world, especially in our country, because it's not the strictest with food law, that you kind of do need to be aware of this stuff, because, like, I've thought a lot about this with where disease comes from, and there's like probably some people who think that you can just get a disease because of, like, you live in a toxic environment, or there's a lot of chemicals, or your food is bad, or those kind of things, and then it just like it like adds up, and then people get sick. And I do think there's substance to that belief. And then there's other people that believe, oh, you just attract everything energetically to your life. So meaning, like, if you were having a really hard time, or you're like having a low emotional state for a period of months to years of your life, that would create and manifest as something in your body, which there's truth to this too. But I just think it's a blend, and like, you're not going to, whatever the case is, whatever happened to get you where you are in your body, it's the way that it is, and you have power within these both two sides, spiritual and physical, to change it. But you need both. And so you also need the awarenesses right now today of the actual physical stuff in, on, and around our food, so that then you can make a good decision. This is the way that I think. So, there's lots of coaches and teachers that are like, oh, like you can eat gluten and that doesn't matter. And again, that's their belief. So of course it doesn't matter for them. There's just so many pieces to the puzzle, right? I hope you guys see this, because if you're like healthy, you don't want to lose weight and you're eating gluten, that's a different situation than someone who maybe is feeling bloated and constipated for, the truth of it, and wants to lose weight, okay? So you actually just have to start with where you are. So I guess even before knowing what you believe about food, you have to recognize where your health is at, your health and your body. Because those things even can be separate for people. Some people believe they can be healthy but not in the body shape they want, or some people believe they can be in the body shape they want but maybe not healthy. So you actually have beliefs around both, and just know you do get to have both. You just need to choose to have both and work through all this stuff. So you have to know where you are with your health, and you have to know where you are with your body, and you have to just look at it and say, okay, I'm not where I want to be, and I accept that, because acceptance is the first place. You can't create change when you're in denial. So you accept where you are, and then you can move from there. So you just have to look at it and be like, okay, great. So because you can come to like this sense of peace when you aren't like fighting yourself anymore. Like, oh no, it's not a big deal. Like, oh no, I am in shape. Oh no, it's only a few pounds. It doesn't bother me. But if it does, then just look at it and get clear with it and be like, oh, actually, I'm not in the healthiest body right now. Actually, I'm not in the body shape that I want to be right now, but I'm going to do something about it. And so there. So you need to know, you have to be aware of your starting position and then where you want to go. So then you start looking at, well, what do I believe about food? Because if you just don't know what you believe about food and you're just eating different kinds of foods, then there's a lot of stuff you can clean up and clear up right there, right? Because like if you start thinking about this stuff and you're like, oh, I'm gonna look at what I believe about certain foods. So I actually had this like PDF in I think it was like a sugar detox program I ran, or I don't know, some program I used to run that was called Your Food Story. And it was like getting people to look at their food stories, which goes back to childhood, of course, but also now, because you're not a child anymore, what do you believe about the foods that we have in front of us today? So do you even know, like, oh, I've been eating, just because this is a really common one, I've been eating a lot of sugar, because sugar's like in everything. I've been eating a lot of sugar, however, I feel sugar is bad. So what do you think is going to happen when you continue to eat sugar and you think it's bad? That is a message that your cells are going to continue to take in and feel badly about you doing and eating. So it's impossible for your body to thrive to its fullest and be like great in abundance of health and vitality when you actually are doing things that you believe are bad for you. Okay, so that's a really important awareness to have. So you want to get straight and clear about it. Now, a lot of people that I work with are confused about food because you have been maybe trying different things, or, I mean, who isn't confused about food in America? No one, hardly. I don't know. I'm not. But you need to know the level of clarity you have around food. Now, if you have questions, you will have questions, right? Well, I heard that you should eat high protein and high fat from over here. I heard that you should eat vegan over here. I heard you should eat raw. I heard you shouldn't eat raw. So you need to be able to navigate all of that and come to what's actually true. So that's one thing that's good about working with me, or listening to me even, is that I have a very straightforward message about food, because it's not based on my opinion. It's based on what it does to your body on all levels energetically, because that's what I care about. I just want to know how this works. If you want to make the most progress with your body and with your health, then you just need to know how food works. It's like just this tool that we have. Just like if you want to be wealthy, you need to know about financial stuff. And if you want to know about health, you need to know about food stuff and other things too, right? There's so many like belief systems that play into these things, but you actually do just need to know how it works. So when you can start with that, look at your beliefs. And so the first step is, what am I eating right now, and what do I believe about all the things I'm eating right now? So there can be a shift there. Because if you don't believe in it, you either need to change the way you think about the food that you're eating, or you need to change the food that you're eating, or you need to think that it doesn't matter. But you actually have to believe whatever choice you just made of those three options, you need to actually believe in it and practice it, commit to practicing that new way of thinking, because it will become true for you, okay? So then if you don't know what you completely believe and think is true about food, then you need to get those answers, which is why you want to work with a coach or decide on your own somehow. Because, if you don't know the truth about, well, should I eat gluten? Is it really bad? If I eat gluten-free crackers, is that bad? What is that doing to me? Like, can I eat corn tortillas? Or, can I have too much fruit? Like, you just need to hear an answer about those questions that you trust and that you believe. And so what I'll tell you about those foods and about those ingredients is what it will do in your physical body. And then you'll be able to think about it and decide, okay, well then now I choose this, or you can choose to not believe that that actually happens in your physical body. And you could choose to believe that gluten is as healthy as a blueberry and then go on about your healthy life and eat it. But that's like a little bit harder because most of us have a lot of like knowledge, and there's like science, there's lots of books, there's lots of science and studies and experiments that have been showing this stuff to us for a while now, although it is not mainstream as much as it needs to be. So we keep talking about it. But it is there. Like if you look, there's so much about health stuff and like food and what's going on in inflammation in our bodies by the way that we're eating, especially in America. So it's like, well, why are we not all just like paying attention to this and then changing what we do? It's because there's lots of patterns and like addictions to it and, cravings, and we got to work through all this stuff. So it's not just the food, but that is a really good place to start. So you're looking at where you are, you're you're accepting it, you decided you want to change something, and then you're getting clearer on what you think your current diet is and how it's hurting you or helping you, what needs to be changed there. And then you need the next step of clarity on like, okay, well, if I have gut issues, what do I do? Maybe now I know that these certain things I've been doing or eating aren't helping me. But what do I actually do? So this is why I feel like my approach is a little bit different when we talk about intuitive eating, because there might be some people that are like, well, you just have to learn how to be intuitive right now, like from the beginning. But you gotta have safe parameters, right? So I would feel so badly telling someone to just like follow your instinct, follow your gut, when you don't have a healthy gut and you have all this confusion around you. So all you really need is to like wash away the messages of like uncertainty and like figure out what is actually true and what is actually true for you. And then you can start to rebuild your body by putting in certain foods that you are certain will be good for you and will heal you and shift you energetically as well. So that's why when I run my programs and with my clients now, the first thing we talk about is what are these very important truths about food, so that you are sure, because what I don't want is for you to not see results as quick as possible. And in order to see results as quick as possible, you want to have your food tool 100% safe. And to me, safe means it does no harm in your body. So what you need to avoid is only things that do harm in the physical body. By harm, I mean it would continue to feed into inflammation, it would continue to feed into unhealthy gut, it would continue to feed into toxins and contaminants and like added sugars and things that we know for sure have a true, real impact on your physical body. So therefore, by taking them away right away from the beginning, you get to rebuild how your body works. Because do you see this, you guys? If you are currently eating a diet that's sort of like, I don't want to say contaminated, I want to say like it's mixed. It's like, it's not just pure. That's why like I used to call my Facebook group Pure Foodies. Because if you just eat pure food, you'll be good. If you just start putting in all these things that are true and real and pure and only do good for you, it's less important exactly what you're eating for breakfast. It's less important exactly what you're eating for lunch or dinner or a snack or not a snack. It's most important that you just can know and trust for sure that all of it is good. It's all good because it's all healthy, it's all purposeful, and it all will help you versus harm you. And that means on a physical level, that means going into all of your cells, your tissues, your organs, and energetically, right? So energetically, you're getting supported all the way from the beginning too, right? Because you already are gonna have to think and deal with the energetics of your belief systems, the energetics of your thought patterns about food, diet, health, fitness, being skinny or lean or fit or whatever word you wanna put in there. So that's the cool thing. And if you didn't even have the awareness that foods are able to do that for you, then now you have an awareness that foods are gonna shift your energy and you want to do it to support you instead of slow you down. At least that's for me, because this is also something that is just true about the way that I'm built. But I talk fast, I like move around a lot, I can't sit still, and I like fast action and fast results. Because why would you want anything else? Why would you want to wait? Like, waiting sucks. Like, most people have been struggling too long with their bodies and health, and they're like, it would just make you so happy to feel good, right? And make you so happy to like know you're healthy and make you so happy to love the way that you look too. So there's no time to wait, because it is totally my belief that especially as women, we can achieve so much and we have these big dreams, but if we feel slowed down in our physical health and our physical body, it's just impossible, you guys, to do as much, to be as loud, to be as big, to show up as much when you don't feel well. I mean, look at me. I don't actually feel the greatest right now, but I'm still doing it because I'm so passionate about it. Like, I have no makeup on, and I'm wearing a sweatshirt, but that is my life. But still, you know what I mean? If I was feeling like really sick or bloated, or I didn't have energy, like I wouldn't even be on this live stream if that was true. So you have to know that your career is affected by your health, your relationship with your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, or whatever, your children, it all matters. Like, there's been times when I feel like gross, like when I hadn't been eating very well, because I know what to do, but I don't always do it either. And then Dalton would be like pulling on my leg and I would be like, just so frustrated. And I'm like, you're just mostly mad at yourself because you don't feel good and you know that you want it. And it's like so hard to accept, like, I just don't know how to get here, It just ruins things. I mean, not because they're going to ruin your life, but it will enhance your life dramatically when you know how to do this, when you have peace with the way that you eat and you're sure and certain that you do get to have the result and you move toward it and you see the results happening for you. It's just such a like good place to be. And then to know like you get to stay there. It doesn't go away. It's not supposed to be hard. And so when you know the truth about this, when you can see the truth about food, oh, this is what's going on. This is why I'm bloated. This makes sense because these foods do X, Y, Z. And if I did this instead, this and this and this would happen instead. And oh, I didn't know that I was sabotaging myself, or I didn't know that I believed this or that about health or food or being thin or on and on. There's all these layers. So you have to just know and look at it, but then you can, not that hard to like shift it all around so that you can go forward on your path and get what you want. So then once you start to really ease into like your own beliefs and your own ritual of eating, where you're eating real foods, you're eating foods that are all good and no harm, then you can start to loosen up the ways of like doing it to get a certain outcome. So what I believe is true is if you have gut issues, if you have bloating, if you have thyroid or whatever, then there are patterns of ways to use foods and certain ways that will speed up the healing. And so you can do all of that, but yet you never have to, but you can. And then as you become more familiar with all the foods and how to use them too, and what they do for you, and how to make it work in your life really simply, that's when you can become way more intuitive, where you just like open the fridge and you're like, what do I feel like eating, right? And your body will tell you, and you'll be able to instinctually know how you hear that message, how you hear that response. And this other major part of like what blocks intuition is the inflammation that is truly physically in your body. Because I know for sure, it's harder for me when I meditate to get intuitive messages when my body doesn't feel pure and clean and an open channel to receive. It's the same thing, because that's intuition coming from a source greater than us, telling us and guiding us, giving ourselves the inclination and the desire through our brain and our body to say, oh, this is what we need. Because we know what you want, and we know you want to be healthy, and we know what you want to look like. So we're just guiding you, and you have to be able to trust that. But first you have to be able to hear it. And if you have a bloated gut, it's really hard to trust your gut. Okay? So that's why all of this gets cleared up when you first know how to heal your digestive system and your digestive energy, and shift your energy, and start looking at all these things and the ways that you perceive food, perceive having what you want, and the health and the body and all of that together, right? Okay, so that's one thing you guys can do right now, is look at, what is my food story? What did I learn as a little girl? Like, what did my mom do with food? What did my dad do with food? I used to have to sit at the table and eat my vegetables, and I only got dessert if I did finish my plate. And I still find myself today, even though I love what I eat and I believe in what I eat, I'll often eat too much of it, and if you eat a lot of vegetables, it's like a lot of fiber, and you can feel really full and uncomfortable, and that's unnecessary. And so I've been questioning that. One, why do I always lick my plate clean? Am I even paying attention to how hungry or not hungry I am anymore? And two, I have this bad habit of standing up in the kitchen and eating standing up and not sitting down. And so I'm gonna look at that, and then maybe I'll live stream about that tomorrow to give you another insight, maybe breakthrough for yourself as well. But look at all those things. What did I learn? What did I see as family traditions with food? And then come forward to now, what do I believe about food? Write down your questions. What do I not sure of? What are all these confusing food myths that you hear about? And if you want to know about them, just type it in the comments and tag me, and I can answer questions like that for you too. But that's a really good place to start, is in your journal, before you just dive into eating a certain way. You actually have to believe in it. You actually have to know and want it to be lifelong, and you have to want it to just be a path to ultimate freedom, right? Where it's just a thing you do. You just eat, and you just are, and you just get to be healthy, and you just get to look the way that you want. And it's not even a question anymore that would not be the case. Okay? That's the place you want to get to. So if you're interested in getting to that place using my method, which is spiritual, energetic, and physical, you can't miss any of those steps if you want to get to the truth and the most ease and flow. So that's why I love pulling in this energy of creation and cellular energy with the beliefs energy and real food energy. it's such a great place to like look at health from, because it pulls it in from all sides and all parts, and there's really nothing missing when you do this. So my course is starting in 2 weeks. It's a group program. We do have an emphasis, because this is my specialty, is digestion. So if you've ever had like gut issues, or you just feel like kind of inflamed in your body, the gut is the place to start. Although the way that I teach how to heal the gut is now energetic and with food as the healing properties, along with your mindset. So it's not like a strict elimination diet or anything like that. It's like just an intro to this way of eating that's a little bit more tailored just at the beginning, so that you can feel the relief. Because as soon as you start to feel relief faster and faster, you believe in it more, right? And so it's really important, and that's what, again, why I want my clients to feel better the fastest possible, because it creates evidence and it creates belief, so that you just like gain traction faster, momentum. So that is the emphasis, is we have to know the order of healing in the body. We have to know how to get this gut healthy, so that we can then pass that healing energy all throughout the rest of the systems of the body and see the results everywhere. But this is where I'm pointing at my stomach, you can't tell, but the stomach area, the gut, it's like such our powerhouse. It's it's like our sacral chakra. It's where we have this energy, this creative energy, this creation energy. And so just like you want to create a baby or a business, you want to create this healthy body, it starts here. And everything needs to flow. So it's like not just there, but it is a very critical place. And so that's where we start at the beginning of the course, and then we move through it. But the whole time it's like we're looking at things, yes, the physical elements of food, but also the spiritual and emotional sides of the food, and what does that mean, and how is that affecting what you're actually doing right now, and all of it. So I ran this course before, and the quickest thing that clears up for people is like the bloating and the gut stuff, because it's just like a simplicity of mind, and this is why I'm bloated all the time. It's really not that hard. It sucks too. So you want to like clear that stuff up, because it just allows you to like move through the next thing, right? So if you want to lose weight, you've got to heal your gut first. If you want to do anything, you need to focus on getting the right nutrients to your body consistently, and that takes a healthy gut. It just takes a healthy gut. But we also look at all the belief patterns, the mindset, the manifesting elements of changing your body, and the intuitive layer. The last lesson is about intuitive eating. So once you've been through the program for the first portion, then you have that new awareness now, like you're doing new things with your food. You're eating in a different way. You're bringing in mind, body, spirit tools, and that just changes everything with the way that you look at food and how you eat. And so there's all of that in there. So this is for the person who is not happy in their body, is busy, has their career, their family, their kids, or maybe they want to someday, and they just know that their body stuff is slowing them down and dragging them down, and you're over it, and you want to do it the right way so that you see this all so clearly now. This is not like a shortcut. This is literally how food will work in your body, and it works for everyone this way. So not everyone eats the exact same diet. That's not what this is. I'm not putting everyone on the exact same diet. I'm just gonna show you what you are showing up with, what that means. So that's the deciphering that needs to happen, right? So you look at, what do the symptoms mean? What do I know that is telling me about the internal physical health of the body? And don't worry, I'll tell you this. And you just have to tell me what's going on for you. And then where do you want to go? And then we look at your specific and unique beliefs about food and what needs to happen to get you through that part as well. Okay? So the course, I'll put the link in, and you can check it out. And I'm gonna add a one-on-one upgrade option if you want to do more coaching with me on the side. Because some people do, if you want to start like faster. So like I said, we're going to start the group in 2 weeks, but if you want to do the upgrade to the one-on-one sessions that come with it, you can start those immediately or as soon as we schedule them, right? Okay, so I'll pin it as soon as I get off, and let me know if you have questions or if you watch the replay and you want to type in your things you're not sure of. Go ahead and do that and I'll answer them. Okay guys, talk to you soon, bye.